Los Angeles, what's going on? Welcome into the Rams Skinny here on the LA Football Network. Excited to be talking to you after a Rams victory, big victory at that over the Arizona Cardinals, 37-14. Dominant performance by all, kind of by all three phases. You know, missed kick here and there, a missed extra point, but hey, overall, a dominant performance from top to bottom. Joining me as always, the man, our Rams beat writer, our managing editor at the LA Football Network, Ryan Skinny T. Anderson. What's up, my man? Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you as well. You've had your Christmas decorations up for a little while. I wanted everybody to know that I also put up my Christmas tree here. So we're set.
What is that?
This is the Peanuts Christmas tree, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yes, I love it. More of a
It
Christmas
plays the
twig.
song. I won't hit the button, but it does play the song.
You got to get that behind you somewhere, like on that
Yeah,
chair or something.
Yeah.
There we go. That's perfect. I love it. Well, good. Well, welcome to the party. Finally getting in the Christmas spirit. Happy. Hope everyone. Now we're Mondays. Hope everyone had a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend. Got to spend time with family and loved ones, and thankful for all of you for listening and putting up with us and helping us grow this brand new show this season. We've seen incremental growth every week, which is exciting. So let's keep it up, keep it rolling. If you're on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to the Rams LAFB YouTube channel so we can keep growing that. And if you're on the website, LFB Network, or if you're on podcast platform, Apple or Spotify, you can subscribe as well. It certainly helps us out, and we do appreciate it. Before getting into it quickly, I know we don't got a ton of time today, but how was your Thanksgiving? I know we obviously talked a bunch yesterday, work related, but how was the Thanksgiving?
Oh man, it was good. We went to a friend's place. We'd been hosting the last few years, and it was just this was kind of the year to take a step back and let somebody else. So we went to a friend's place. We introduced them to this really fantastic game called Super Happy Fun Time Game,
Nice.
which it's more than it takes more explanation than, but it's a really good time. So. When we decided to go out to Napoleon, the new movie. On Saturday. Good movie, but my goodness, the Glendale Americana Mall was a mob scene out there. Holy cow. Everybody was out at the mall on Saturday. So a reminder that, holiday traffic is upon us.
Yes. I want to see that movie so bad. So we'll get there, see it eventually. But we actually thought about, because the Glendale Galleria does the awesome, gigantic Christmas tree. They have Santa out there. So this weekend I was like, Saturday SC didn't play. So I was like, I kind of have a Saturday pseudo off, if you will. So I was like, we should go. And I immediately was like, Thanksgiving weekend, it is going to be a madhouse. So we did not go, and it sounds like we made the right choice.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The Christmas tree is going to be around for a few more weeks, so you got time.
Yeah, we'll go. You got to go weekdays, right? You got to go weekdays. So that's when we'll make it happen one of these weekdays. Well, good. Glad to hear it. Hope everyone else had a great one. Thankful for you, my friend, and all you do and your friendship here. So this is a lot of fun and doing this show with you now. But thankful for a Rams win. Back on track, 5-6. What'd you say their playoff chances are now? They bumped up a little bit after this win?
Quite a bit. Per New York Times, they have an interactive playoff picture screen, and 37%. So they're kind of that is as they say, a punter's chance, maybe is a good way to put it. For football talk, but definitely back in the playoff talk, back in the playoff hunt, right there with some of those other teams, even though they have a losing record. And you think about some of those other teams that are in the mix, Vikings don't have a quarterback. Packers have been off and on. Everybody in the NFC South is a kind of a suspect team. So you got to like our chances.
Yeah, much better than the Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. I mean, this is much higher than that. This is much higher than 1 in a million talk over here in LA. And, I wish this Rams team could play the Cardinals every week. I saw a stat. I want to say, was it our good friend Gary over the LA Times that said it? I can't remember. It may have been him. But the Rams haven't lost in Arizona since they were still the St. Louis Rams in 2014. I mean, that is just impressive what this franchise has done to the likes of the Arizona Cardinals, especially in their own yard. And I know a lot of LA fans travel, which is great to see. A lot of blue in that stadium. But man, I mean, it was a great way to get back on track. I know they won the previous week as well, but a great way for them to really kind of build upon, and we can see how important some of these players are, which we're going to get to. But what was your, just from the jump, like we always do, what was your 3,000 mile above lens of kind of this game?
Can you call 2 wins in a row a winning streak? Can you? I don't know.
I think technically.
Kyren Williams. I mean, if even from 3,000 feet up, that's all you can really talk about. Last week I was begging the question: is this offense just a Kyren Williams away from being great? And it turns out they look pretty good with him in there. So yeah. I mean, it's. I always have a hard time. I don't like to rain on parades, but I also like to keep things in perspective. This is the Cardinals, one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league. Came in with a really bad roster. Now 14 guys are on IR. Kyler Murray, who knows if that guy's any good? But I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. But this is the Cardinals, and the big brother beat up on the little brother, which is what is supposed to happen. So. Yeah, I mean those are my big takeaways.
Yeah, you said it best. I mean, incredible performance by Kyren Williams, and again, we don't want to get ahead all of a sudden say this team is Super Bowl bound because of how much they dominated the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are not a very good football team. But I think it shows for sure how much Kyren Williams means to this offense in terms of, obviously his skill set and his playmaking ability, but also in terms of confidence that McVay has in play calling when he's out there. Because you talked about the screen game last episode, like where is the screen game gone? And, it's such an instrumental part of the Sean McVay offense, and they've gotten so far away from it and just haven't utilized it and haven't had success even when they've tried. And all of a sudden we see it this week, and Kyren Williams scores a touchdown on the screen, and we see it used a lot more. So I think there's a confident level in there with him. Just something to add to it. We talked about tight end play. Like, where is Tyler Higbee? Where is these tight ends? Or is Sean McVay going to start using these tight ends more? Lo and behold, 2 touchdown tight end performance for Tyler Higbee. So Sean McVay must be listening to the Rams Skinny podcast, because exactly what we mapped out. My score prediction was also 31-15. We'll take 37-14, I guess. That's even better. So Sean McVay listening in. Last thing I'll add before we kind of dive a little deeper is, let's talk about this run game, Skinny T. Over 30 rushes, over 200 yards on the ground. Love the versatility. Kyren with 16 carries for 143 and 8.9 yard per carry average. And Rolls-Royce Freeman, loved that they were still utilizing him. 13 carries for 77 yards and a tubby 5.9 yards per carry. So again, it's the Arizona Cardinals, but hey, love seeing that running game get utilized. Takes pressure off the passing game, off Matthew Stafford. And I think, Rolls-Royce started this season on the practice squad, and he's fully, I think, implemented himself as RB2 behind Kyren Williams. And it's a really fun 1-2 punch that they have between Williams and Freeman.
Heading into this game, I was looking at the stats, and I was surprised to see that Kyren Williams, despite having missed 4 weeks of play, coming into this year behind Cam Akers on the depth chart, he was still the leading rusher coming into this game. So, I mean, it just really does point out to you how important he is to the offense. And he's going to be, I would imagine, even more so heading into some of the next few weeks, going up against some pretty intense defenses against the Browns and the Ravens. This running game is going to be even more important in those games. So, yeah. And another great game for Matthew Stafford. He kind of broke his rough streak of bad completion percentages. I think almost 75% completion rate in this game, and actually, utilizing that screen game, his average depth of target came way down in this game, just about 6 yards per target. So that's an interesting change of events. And, it goes back to what you were saying about Sean McVay's confidence in play calling, and, not feeling like he has to hit guys deep downfield, knowing that he can pick up 4, 5, 6 yards, whether that be to Kyren Williams or to Tyler Higbee. And those are the kind of things that you need to, those are the kind of passes, at least, that you need to be able to hit so that you can open up a Tutu Atwell down the field. Mm-hmm. Or let's say maybe we can get Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua involved in this offense once again at some point. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's the beauty of it, right? Like 7 catches between both Nacua and Cooper Kupp, both under like 30 yards receiving. Obviously, you hate seeing stat lines like that for Cooper Kupp just because of what he means to the game of football, and you want him to remain in the talks of best wide receiver in the league. And, you know, the casuals out there or the national people will look at his stat line and say, oh, Cooper Kupp's done, like blah, 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 blah. And they just, you know, aren't watching the game and knowing his involvement. But from a team perspective, this is a great thing. If you can win a game by 30 points almost, or 25 points or whatever, I'm terrible at math, but put up 37 points and Cooper Kupp goes 3 for 18. I mean, that means you're doing things the right way. And because you're eventually going to need to lean on Cooper Kupp at some point, but you don't want to have to lean on him in games like this. And just to go back to the point of this offense and these screens and simplifying things in a way, the game of football today offensively, the offenses that have success overall are the teams that are kind of, I hate using the word dink and dunk because it sounds like it's, you know, not a good offense. But when you look at even Pat Mahomes, when you look at the Sean Payton offense, when you look at others out there that have found success, it's making throws and obtaining yardage in a much simpler way. Screens, short corner routes, short post routes, some out routes. The Rams over the course of the last 18 months, it's like every throw they're trying to make are these like intermediate to long routes, long developing. It's Stafford trying to just show off his arm talent. And it's just, they're not taking things the defense give them. And maybe it's just the Cardinals. It's just what they provide, but it's like, it was good to see them just take some easy stuff and utilize the short yardage stuff and letting their playmakers go make plays and letting Stafford stay clean in the pocket and not having to force these long 12-yard, you know, deep posts and skinny routes and fades and stuff like that. And that, as you do the more intermediate stuff and the short stuff, that deeper stuff starts opening up for you. So I just thought it was a great called game by McVay. Now we just need to see him stack these and like stick with that game plan and not go immediately back to like, okay, we gotta start pushing it down the field again and not get in this dink and dunk mode, because the dink and dunk mode works. I mean, that's what the NFL is. Pat Mahomes the last like 2 years has had the lowest yards per pass in the entire NFL. Drew Brees made a career out of having the lowest yards per pass. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. You don't always have to sling it 12 plus yards on every pass play. So I just think it's exciting to see that they did that. Now, will they stick with it? That's the question, which we'll get into later in the week. But it was good at least to see it done on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a kind of a disciplined approach that coaches have to have, that they're willing to, you know, pick up 4 or 5 yards and just kind of keep moving the chains. And that's going to force defenders to, you know, respect that kind of physicality, respect that kind of short game. Come up closer to the art of scrimmage, you know, stack the box, trying to stop the run, kind of muddle up the middle. You know, you don't want to give up those, you know, short passes over the middle, you know, where, you know, mesh routes can kind of gash, you know, a team for 20 yards, you know, 15, 20 yards at a time. So those kind of things just kind of bring the defense, condense the defense down, which then opens up those big gains that, you know, like talking about going back to early career Sean McVay, is that that was kind of that game. That's what Todd Gurley offered the offense was, well, we got to watch out for that guy. That's for sure. And then they just uncork it, you know, and that's what created that electric offense. So it's great to see that manifest itself once again. And, you know, only 8 pressures on Stafford in this game. So can they continue that against those more formidable pass rushes? And hopefully this is just kind of a tune-up game where they're starting to see some things that they're able to open up more, because this offense just has not looked good, even against, you know, lesser teams, you know, going up against Green Bay and things like that. So it's nice at least to see it churning against the Cardinals. And, we'll talk more about the Browns, but it was good to see that kind of thing happened.
Yeah, and we mentioned it early in the season, but this is Kyren Williams has been the first. How do I say this correctly? They haven't had obviously a running back like Todd Gurley since Todd Gurley, obviously understated. Not even saying Kyren Williams is as good as or can be Todd Gurley, but this is the first time they're using a running back like they used Todd Gurley in both the running game and the passing game. And I think we saw when he got injured, like he was really starting to find his stride, but even early on, even in the losses, right? Like he was really utilized in that Niners game in week 2 in the passing game and had that unfortunate ball go off his hands that led to an interception, but he was utilized in both aspects of the game. In week 3 was utilized in both aspects of the game. He misses then 4 weeks, and you could really see Olsen. They weren't doing that with the running backs. Like they tried a little bit to sprinkle stuff in, but it was really more of, hey, Jello Henderson, Royce Freeman, go run the ball, 8 times each, and we'll see what happens. Now with him back, we saw that Todd Gurley-like usage, which I think, as you just said, makes this offense go. And if they can do more 11 personnel, which Sean McVay made famous, and get everyone more involved in screens and get Tutu Atwell those 3 catches that end up being pretty electrifying catches, then things just start churning more and more. So hopefully we'll see that more out of Kyren Williams, but it's, so good to have him back. 2 touchdowns through the air. Like I said, 144 yards on the ground, 6 led all receivers with 6 catches. So just a one-man wrecking crew. So Kyren Gurley looking pretty good out there as number 23. But let's talk about, and yes, I said Kyren Gurley on purpose. Let's talk about the defense now. Arizona's offense is no dominant offense, but different unit they faced a few weeks ago because they had Kyler Murray back. They had James Conner back. That first drive, Arizona goes right after the Rams scored. Arizona countered, goes right down the field. They end up getting a 2-point conversion after a penalty, takes an 8-7 lead. Or you're like, okay, are we in for a shootout here? Not the case. Defense absolutely then shut down, gave up a garbage time touchdown late in the game. It doesn't even matter. So technically it was basically a 37-8 football game. Held this team to under 100 yards rushing. Kyler Murray was chased all over, had an okay game, 256 for a touchdown, but was sacked 4 times, pressured 19. Talked about this defense, Skinny T, because they just get better and better every week, I think.
Yeah, especially, it works off the offense a bit, but the offense put up some points, and that forced Kyler Murray to try to keep up. And, I think that it had they continued to run the ball, use James Conner and Kyler Murray to kind of, push the ball and run the offense kind of more physically, I think they could have stayed in this game a bit more. But, Kyler Murray, they wanted to try to run it through him, through his arm and whatnot, and that just wasn't working. He's got no cast of characters around him to catch the ball. I was making fun of Greg Dortch earlier or last week when we were heading into this game, and I mean, he made a really fantastic catch, but there's just,
I can see Deutsch with a touchdown at the end, garbage time touchdown.
Why isn't he throwing to DeAndre Hopkins? Why isn't he throwing to Christian Kirk? It's like, wow, these guys are gone. So, but I mean, you just saw this is exactly what you want to see against the Cardinals, is a dominant defensive performance. It shows just how great this defense actually can be. It shows how great Raheem Morris is, and this whole defensive coaching staff. Taking, we've said it a million times, like a cast of nobodies and turning them into really great, at least serviceable starters. Some of them are getting even better. I think Derion Kendrick is taking that benching very personally. Mm-hmm. He's come back and had just 2 fantastic games, and then you look up front, and obviously another fantastic game by Aaron Donald. 7 pressures, 4 hurries. Apparently he said that playing against Kyler Murray is no walk in the park. He's hard guy to take down. But then you got Kobie Turner right next to him, 2-sack game. Everything's working in concert for this defense, and I continue to be impressed with it. And hats off to all these guys. Jordan Fuller, what a game. What a game for him. And he's turning into this kind of a shutdown safety, if there's ever been such a thing, where just, passes defended, left and right. It just seems like he's always involved in, really good heads up plays. And that's what we knew he could always be, after he had such a fantastic rookie season. So, I mean, I think again, this is what you want to do to a bad team. And,
Yeah.
They contained the run. They didn't allow that to beat them, even though I think the Cardinals went away from it. It's not like either one of those guys had a great day. So, I'm continued to be impressed, and yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this defense at this point.
Yeah, hard to after yesterday's performance, and this is not hyperbole, but based on just the way this season's gone in performance, Jordan Fuller is the best safety in Los Angeles right now. He is better than Derwin James is right now. And that's just based on the way he's playing and the position he's been put in this defense. And that's no shade at Derwin James. We'll have to talk to our Chargers Unleashed buddies, Dan and Jake, to see if they would agree with that. But Jordan Fuller is playing great and being one of the leaders of this team. And it shows how dearly he was missed last year when missed with injury, and played well. This team, Skinny, what's hard about it is it's been such a Jekyll and Hyde team this season. There's weeks like this where you get all excited and like, all right, this team maybe can do damage in the playoffs. They're very competitive. And then there's weeks, and I want to throw the Packers game out just because no Stafford, and obviously Brett Rippon did not play well, and you have to own that, and that loss can certainly come back to haunt them later in the season. But let's just throw that aside. But you look at some of their other losses and just some stuff here and there that just underwhelming performances. But if they can get rid of that Jekyll and Hyde mantra and play consistently, not only is this a good football team, they're not great right now, but they're a good football team, but it has to have everyone so excited for next year. When you go into the draft with all your draft picks, you go into the offseason with a lot of cap space now because of the offseason moves they've done. Like 2024, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but this is once again going to be one of the top teams in football. And the fact that they're doing this with this roster, sitting at 5-6, hopefully can get to 500 next week. Well, again, we'll talk about the Browns next episode. And what it starts with, and this is what we talked about during the draft, and me and you talked about it before the draft, and me and you talked about it in July. In order for this remodel to work, Les Snead, Sean McVay, and company had to start nailing these draft classes, specifically this one. Because if you're going to give away all your star power, you got to nail this draft and nail the 24 draft. And by all accounts, it's early. It's very early. It's 11 games in. But they have absolutely nailed this draft class from top to bottom almost. It's incredible. I mean, Steve Avila, home run so far. Home run. We can go down the list. Kobie Turner, as you mentioned, has been a home run. Byron Young has been a home run based on what he was, the project he was coming in. I mean, we could just keep Puka Nacua, obviously. They nailed this draft. Last year's draft class, they've gotten contributors out of with Russ Yeast, Derion Kendrick, Cobie Durant. So by all accounts, the plan they've put in motion is certainly working so far. Let's see if that continues down the stretch, if we can get away from that Jekyll and Hyde type of play more consistent, and then obviously go into this next draft and have another home run draft. But this team is certainly set up for a lot of success, and it's exciting to see when you're a team that gave everything away and you're the better team in LA right now. That's what's incredible to me. Like this, by far and away, based on what we saw the Chargers do last night and what they've done the last few weeks, when you look at roster to roster, and you can conceivably say this Rams team is a not just better team record-wise, but a much better team, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. And, you think about the checklist, like there's always those draft needs, things that come out, around draft time that, what this team needs: a quarterback, a defensive back, and, whatever. Some teams are just all, what does the team mean? Everything. I don't know.
Throw a dart and just take it.
Yeah. Just to pick the best player available, and you're doing yourself a favor, you're just ticking boxes off for the Rams. It's like need, done, need, boom, so that list is getting, significantly lower. A lot of those questions are being answered, and 2024 is not that far away, which is crazy. Weird to say, but in terms of playoff chances, who would have thought, almost December, and the Chargers have a 5% chance of making the playoffs, and the Rams have a 37% chance of making the playoffs. Wow. Obviously a little bit different stories in terms of conferences, but I mean, got to hand it to this team. And, this is a great juxtaposition about franchises. I always like to say, like, Les Snead, just a really smart GM. They hired that guy. They hired Sean McVay. They've hired all these coaches that are turning this roster into a competitive team. And, just I guess trust the process is the sports way to say it. Is we're you're in good hands, with this setup. Yeah.
free pub there. We need to get a sponsor there. Last thing I'll say, and then we'll wrap up. And from an ownership level, I think, and people can say what they want about owners, but I think Kroenke has proven to be one of the best sports owners of recent memory. I mean, you look, it's no coincidence that his Rams, his Nuggets, his Avalanche, his Miami all have championships in the last 5 years. And that's because of his ownership style and hiring really well, and then letting his hires do their job and not micromanaging and being involved in every little thing, handling the business side of it. But you look at kind of what he's built from, obviously, Les Snead and just the Rams franchise. But then you even see what this Rams culture and the spinoff that's gone to other franchises. Look at the Lions. Brad Holmes was in the player development department for the Rams, and now has turned the Lions from a laughingstock to not just a playoff contender, but a Super Bowl favorite in Detroit. You look at, obviously, we can talk ad nauseum about Sean McVay's coaching tree, but those all come from within that Rams culture and that coaching culture that has been built from the top down. So the Rams know what they're doing. This was an interesting offseason. It's been an interesting year, very Jekyll and Hyde. I'm not sitting here saying this all of a sudden a Super Bowl team, but it just shows they're on the right track. Now it's that consistency to get these young players to continually buy in and play consistent football, and then this team can do some great things. So great win against the Cardinals, 37-14. I didn't even mention our friends at Underdog. I'll do that real quick. Underdog Fantasy, go to Underdog Fantasy app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Use our promo code RAMS, LAFB, all one word, RAMS, LAFB. Gets you a welcome bonus up to $100. You put in $100, they give you $100 free dollars. Build your pick'em, 2 to 5 players. You can 20x your money, have a lot of fun. You can maybe play tonight's Monday night game. But that'll do it for us. For Ryan, Skinny T. Anderson, you're the man. Pleasure as always. Check out some of his great stuff. Put some great Rams content out yesterday on LAFBnetwork.com. I'm Ryan Dyrud. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. Have a blessed week. We'll be back later in the week to preview this Browns matchup. Everyone take care.